Hello friends, James Stevenson back with another edition of James's Gems of the Week, the weekly feature in which I, James Stevenson, walk you through all the tweets that I've liked over the previous week and explain why I liked them. This is a video for Tesla fans who might have missed out on what was happening on Twitter last week and want to catch up in a hurry. I am here to help you out. So, I am getting the hang of this OBS Studio. I think I fixed the time delay sync on the audio versus video. I think I have the audio figured out and boosted appropriately. It sure looks like my audio levels are okay on the screen, so hopefully that'll work for you. Let me click the Share Desktop screen transition. I have an extremely professional looking, I cannot underscore enough, animated watermark logo at the bottom of the screen, which you will notice now that I've drawn your attention to it. And let's bring up my likes. So this was the last tweet that I liked last week on James's Gems of the Week. So from here we will just scroll up and talk about them. So what do we have here? The very next tweet that I liked came from Earl of Frunkpuppy on July 31st, and this was the GIF he tweeted to represent a visual approximation of the performance of the Tesla Q ETF since it launched midweek last week, as Tesla was skyrocketing higher. So that Tesla short fund, which happened to have launched right in the middle of that week, not doing so hot so far. So I liked that tweet, thought that was good. The next tweet that I liked was also from Earl. So this was in reply to my tweet about last week's James's Gems of the Week, which I had teased to include these topics, including what Tesla Q gets wrong. And Earl said, what Tesla Q gets wrong? How long is this video? How long is this video? So I had to admit that I ran out of characters and had to abbreviate what Gary Black tweeted last week that I liked about why Tesla Q keeps getting stuff wrong, and what they would be doing instead if they really wanted to not keep getting their faces ripped off shorting Tesla. So Gary said they start with the current PE, which at 70x is too high for a regular auto stock, a mature automotive producer, and then looks for data to support their thesis that Tesla is overpriced. That's different from most growth managers who build a multi-year model that drives valuation, which then gets compared to price. So Gary is pointing out the flaw in the logic that most of the short sellers are making, which is that PE is too high. Well, that is too simplistic an analysis to be correct. You can't just look at a big PE and say, well, it has to be overvalued. It depends why the PE is that high, right? Is there a good reason why the PE is that high? Is this company growing a lot? Are their earnings in the future going to be way more than their earnings are today? If so, then that explains the higher PE multiple. All right. Next, a tweet from Carsonite, who tweeted, the only thing at Tesla that has grown is China. Funny how everywhere else has stagnated. I hate to break it to you, but Fremont used to deliver Teslas to the world. Now they cannot even keep up with North America, despite exponential growth. So he was replying to Gustavo Latowski, longtime Tesla hater, and Tesla Q Generalissimo, who had tweeted, your charts are really funny, and the rest of what Carsonite quoted him as saying. So what's this thread about? Well, because Gustavo started this by taking a screenshot of my tweet just to those requesting a Stevenson indicator update, right? And it says, imagine thinking you actually invented some indicator. So I had to reply back, apologies if my parody Tesla technical analysis doesn't rise to the level of Tesla Q discourse to which you are accustomed, Gustavo. With a few screenshots here that you can pause and look at if you want to. I'm pretty sure I've talked about this in a previous video, perhaps last week's video. So I will move on hastily from this topic to keep up the pace of this video. Tesla Q Research. Do I dare click this link and see? Oh no. Okay, so something went wrong with that tweet since the time that it was sent, but I'm sure it was funny when I liked it. Next, a tweet from Holmar's Catalog at Holmar's Blog on Twitter. Isn't it funny how Ford executives call FSD Beta vaporware when it has almost twice as many users as Ford's Blue's Clues? That's what Holmar's blog calls Blue Cruise. I have to stop and think about it every time because Blue's Clues is so much funnier. It's an American TV show for little kids, for those who don't know what a Blue's Clues is. And almost 4 times as many traveled. And maybe it's a Canadian show or something, and I just got that wrong. So I apologize to any big Blue's Clues fans out there who I just offended with my ignorance. Forever vaporware, and it's not going to happen this year either. So Mike Levine is Vice President of North America Communications Strategy for Ford, or something like that. I probably messed up his title just now. But, yeah, he doesn't think Tesla is very close to full self-driving, and that's what Holmars is making fun of here. All right, All Things Tesla, at All Things Tesla, tweeted first store opened in Mississippi. So that was good. I think almost every U.S. state now has at least one Tesla store, possibly with the exception of Alaska, and maybe a couple of others. All right, the next tweet that I liked here was from First Principal Investor at 1ST Principal INV on Twitter, who sent out a table showing free cash flow of U.S. car makers. This is the corrected version of this one, so I'll just click on this so you can see what's going on here. Free cash flow. Tesla is selling way less vehicles globally than Ford or GM do still. But the free cash flow numbers are competitive already, right? So Tesla's operating cash flows are more than Ford's or GM's, and watch the notes here. Ford Credit is excluded from this table, and GM Automotive and Cruise, excluding GM Financial, are excluded from this table down here. So if you just want to compare the automotive businesses, Tesla's is already yielding more operating cash flow and spending about as much CapEx, except Tesla's getting way more for their CapEx spending than Ford or GM are. Tesla has 4 of the world's most advanced automotive manufacturing facilities with their capital spending, and Ford and GM have a bunch of old, stranded assets good for making internal combustion engine vehicles. So I like that tweet. Next, a tweet from Esprit Tesla, at Esprit_Tesla on Twitter. Great recap, James. Also, your Twitter handle is a very clever pun. Only understood it now. So, yeah, if you check out my Twitter handle, at I cannot_enough, I cannot underscore enough how many people are in the same situation where it takes them a long time to figure out that I was making a pun there. All right, the next tweet came from Elon Musk, Thanksgiving last year, after watching one too many episodes of Vikings. So Elon gave Baby X a Viking haircut so they could both have matching haircuts, which I thought was cute. And Elon added on that he would be sharing a Floki pic tomorrow, which I think he shared like a short video clip of Floki the day after, so... these are the important milestones that Elon is achieving. You know, you set the expectation and then you over-deliver with a video instead of a still photo. Next, a tweet from All Things Tesla, at All Things Tesla. Tesla Model 3 and Model Y are the best-selling cars in Switzerland. So, Uh, that's worthy of showing the flag of Switzerland 3 times. Well, maybe it's 3 for Model 3. I don't know. But I thought that was a good tweet. I mean, it's only one country. That's a small sample size, but nobody else is number one in that country for that time period, right? So why not share the good news when there is some? JPR007 at JPR007 on Twitter tweeted top bevs for 2022 H1, so the first half of 2022. Note the dominance of Chinese vehicles after the Tesla Model Y and Model 3. We can expect some significant volumes from them in the future once they become successful exporters. And the rest? Not so much. So I'll make this big. And we can see number one is Tesla Model Y globally so far this year through the end of June. And Tesla Model 3 is number two, right behind it. So don't believe the folks who were telling you that Model 3 is a dead platform. It's still doing just fine. And right behind it is the $4,200 Wuling Hongwang Mini EV, which is the size of a large riding lawnmower and probably uses the same size tires. This is a tiny death trap of a vehicle. I think it doesn't have airbags, and only the front passengers have seat belts. I mean, this is the cheapest car available in China. Not comparable in any way to the two vehicles that are outselling it. And you can buy 10 or more of these vehicles with what you would spend for one of those. Just unbelievable that the drop off from these to the ID4, and the BYD Dolphin, etc., is so dramatic with only that very cheap automobile even close to what Tesla is selling in terms of unit volume. All right, next is a tweet from not an analyst at facts_Tesla on Twitter. Shockingly, this prediction from Russ1 Mitchell 2 years ago didn't age well. So at the time, Earl of Frunkpuppy had tweeted this out. This is a reporter for the LA Times. Russ Mitchell covers the automotive beat and tweeted, "So Austin never gets built, Fremont closes, and Musk applies for a driver's license in China." I guess he thought Tesla would be moving its operations to China and shutting down U.S. operations. Next, a tweet from Ali4680 at Ali_Tesla MY. "I don't think you're arrogant. Had you been, you would have been charging people for the information you put out on Twitter and on YouTube, as it is gold." Aw, thank you, Ali. So this is... So Ali started this thread saying arrogance and stubbornness destroy people and will make Tesla Q go bankrupt. They should wallow in their pride and start watching the evolution that's happening. Maybe they should swallow their pride. I'm sorry. And he mentioned me, as well as other people give out free information. So I replied, I was wondering where the tweet about arrogance and stubbornness was going to go in the lead up to tagging me. Arrogance and stubbornness are two of @ICannot_enough's flaws, but also his most endearing traits. But I thought was one stab at how you would tie those concepts together. So that was a nice thing for Ali to say. Thank you, Ali. Next, a tweet from Yashu Sharma. "Whoa, Toyota recalling all of their BZ4X EVs, saying to stop driving them immediately. It's so bad they'll even repurchase them off you. And you might think this recall was about something specific to EVs or batteries or something. And I think it was literally the wheels come off on these cars if you drive them like too fast around corners or something. Now maybe that is an EV issue because of the battery pack and how low it sits and how heavy it is, or something like that that Toyota's not used to having to engineer standards to spec for. But yeah, I think that was the deal, is that if you take corners really fast, the G-forces might pull your wheels off the BZ4X. And I think there's a Subaru, I don't know, Solterra or something that's exactly the same car and got recalled for exactly the same problem because it's just two different badges on the same design. Next tweet from James Cat at TeslaFanMTL. You know what? I'd be fine with a new comp plan if the very first hurdle in it was to deliver on strong operational milestones like delivering autonomous vehicles and the Cybertruck/Semi. They can be creative about it. So let's see what this thread was about. This might be way too long for me to talk about. So this says, I'm working to update my 2030 Tesla price prediction model post-split. Do you have a year-by-year analysis of the number of Tesla shares outstanding through 2030? Thanks. So I shared those. Rows 1198 and 1200 of my detailed forecast model have that information. And when the 3-for-1 split happens on August 25th, I'll have to multiply all of those share counts by 3 because every current holder of those shares will get 2 more for free to go with their existing one. And the result of doing that is that all of those shares will be worth 1/3 as much, roughly. The market will set the price the same as it does every other day. But that's what happens when everybody gets 2 more free shares for every one they had already. All of those shares must become worth about 1/3 as much. So CEO stock compensation is the big wild card from here to 2030, as the next CEO performance award plan hasn't been drafted by the board yet. So normally that's what happens is Elon will draw up a compensation plan to submit to the board for approval and see if they agree, and then the stockholders can vote on that plan. Hopefully Elon doesn't accept any additional comp, think he has enough. And I said, well, if Elon were to auction off his services, like if he were to make a posting on eBay, I will run any business you want for the next 10 years, business or businesses. Who would the winning bidder be for Elon's services, and how much would they bid? That's the idea. You know, hard to ask anyone to run a top 10 global corporation for free, let alone the world's #1 unicorn wrangler, which is how I would characterize Elon. So James Cat says he should at least deliver on past commitments first before taking new comp, so full self-driving Semi, Roadster, and Cybertruck. But Dutchy Wiegans replied, then no one at Tesla should get paid until those are delivered. No, James is right on this one. I said it would be like trying to sign LeBron James or Tom Brady to play for your team for free by telling them you already have more than enough money. Good luck with that pitch. That's not a very compelling, persuasive offer. And James Cat said, when someone's worth $150 billion, that's a bit of a different story. B-Jams S1 replied, in 5 years, LeBron won't be worth much to any team. Elon still has a decade or more left where he can add value. Would Tesla be worth more with or without Elon as CEO? I'll bet more. And I replied, what about as a head coach? You don't think LeBron or Tom Brady would have any value coaching a team? They would work for free because they have so much money already? James Cat said coaches take a salary because they typically don't own the team. I said, is that why? Or is it because their time is valuable? I think people want to be compensated because their time has value, and they need to be compensated for spending that time working, right? I mean, is fishing work or is fishing fun? The answer is, if you're doing it for fun, it's fun. But if someone has to pay you to do it, it's work. That's the idea. Work is called work because they have to pay you to do it. And so I replied here. Didn't I reply here? Maybe I didn't reply here. Maybe I just liked this summing up from James Catt here. So that takes us through August 2nd. This video is probably long enough already, so what I'm going to do is stop part 1 of James's Gems of the Week here, and I will click on my outro button and say if you've enjoyed part 1 of James's Gems of the Week for this week, click the like button. You can subscribe to my channel if you want, over here. That's where. And I will see you in part 2 of James's Gems of the Week.